Hello, hello. Give everybody a few minutes to pop in. Ooh, I feel like that is way... That's a nice close-up. Hey all, I'll be there in just a sec. Hey guys. Sorry, dealing with a sick kiddo this morning, so I was going to have her pop on and say thank you for those of you guys that donated to her little fundraiser. Not little, but for her fundraiser. But she is sick. So thank you from her, from me. I appreciate it. Yeah, but let's get to some of the fun stuff. First off, can everybody hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Everybody see me? It's not too bleached out, anything like that? Hey, Real Deck, how are you? Suzanne, Jason, Cheryl, hi everybody, welcome in. If everybody wouldn't mind just throwing a thumbs up so that we kind of get caught in the algorithm, that always helps out. So we're going to talk about a few things here today. First, let's talk about our piggy bank giveaway. Antoinette, hey, how are you? Michelle, how are you? So we have a couple of updates I want to do for those of you that are here, that are channel members. We have our big piggy bank giveaway that we're doing. There's the big Coke bottle. We did this for our first takeover event, and our winner did not claim their prize, so we rolled it over, and we're still going. So we had some people give me some tickets and send me some Venmo ticket stuff. So I wanted to kind of give an update on that. So of money that was sent. Marjorie, and I don't know, Marjorie, if you're in here or not, she came down to Vegas. We met her. She came down to the Ellis Island event debacle. Real Deck Gaming, you were there. The power outage was an event for sure. Hey, Ed, how are you? Um, so, yes, she gave me some tickets. And unfortunately, what happens in Vegas stayed in Vegas with those tickets. So I did my best to kind of guesstimate what those were, and I think I'm good there with the amounts that I kind of do remember seeing. So we're just calling it $10 for her. So we're adding $10. Cheryl sent me $5 in one Venmo, and then a second one for $2.42. And Michelle sent me one for $3.80. So what the deal is with that is those annoying pesky change tickets. Take a picture of those if you want to be entered. If you're a channel member, you get double tickets for each one that you send me a picture of. Hey, Tina. Hey, Jorge, Ron, or Natalie, or both. Hey. So for that giveaway, if you send me a picture of your Venmo or of your ticket and then Venmo me the change amount of those pesky little 12-cent tickets, 13-cent, whatever, amount you want to, we throw it in here, we add to it, and then we do a drawing at one of our events. So with that being said, that total came out to be 2122, which I'm adding here. That's going on in here. So you guys can see, there goes the 20. Oops, dropped a penny. There it is. So now we've got more in there. Now, I don't have an exact amount here, but let me show you, if I can, my messiness here. But we've got a bunch of change that I'm adding just to the pot. I'll give away some random tickets for what my entries would have been, but I'm out of the drawing. I can't give, would never feel good about doing a drawing that I myself am then entered into. So I'll just randomly give out my tickets to people for that. So looks like in total, I'm going to be adding about another $15 and change from our big Vegas trip, me, Daryl, and Jason, that we did for that Ellis Island event. That penny was your ticket. I'll make sure it's in there and counted. Yeah. So if you ever want to enter, message me, or most of you guys know kind of what the deal is there. If you're one of our channel members, we've talked about that on our private channel member chat on Facebook. If you want to be a channel member and be part of that and be part of some of the behind the scenes events that we do, please, channel member is the best way, easiest way to support our channel. Hey, Mandy. So, piggy bank giveaway. Any questions? We all good? There you go. All right. So let's talk about Takeover 1.5 and 2.0. So after this live, let me say this. At 10 o'clock, my local time, just so everyone knows, we've got a BBD $125 bet session. He goes up to $125 on his bets. I think he's between $50 and $125 bets for his session. He was actually in Vegas. We missed each other by a day. He was there the week after we left for some stuff. So he said gambling sucked, but he had a couple of nice wins early on, and this video will be one of them. So make sure you check that out. So with Takeover 1.5, we, Jason, Daryl, and I were talking on that drive there, and since I don't attend safety meetings, what I remember from that, because I'm guessing the safety meeting attendees have a little foggier memory than mine on this, is that we would like to put together some smaller but more frequent events, most likely in Wendover, jackpot possibility, even doing like a daily or like a overnight up to Wyoming, things like that, things that are close to most of us here. Sorry, Michelle, Real Deck, you guys aren't close, but some of those kind of closer things where we can all get together, or some of us can get together and just have a good time. Wendover probably being the primary driver for that, where maybe we find a weekend where a bunch of us can get together and do some fun stuff together, have dinner, get drinks, whatever. So I will be putting out some information on that on the Slots and Craps page. Yeah, Daryl, always late. And some things like that, as well as in our channel member chat, to kind of look at some dates and some things, what you guys might want that to be. Also, maybe just doing some things like getting together, maybe having, a barbecue and then everybody going out to Wendover. So, things like that. So yeah, so that's kind of what like a 1.5 or a half kind of event would be. Our big event, like we did at Ellis Island. Thank you again to Ellis Island for having us and all of that. Learned a lot from that, and kind of want to get some feedback from you guys on what did you like, what didn't you like, what would you want more of, less of, that kind of stuff. So in the chat, I'm going to put some polls up. You're going to get a bunch of different poll questions, things for me, because I think that might be the easiest way. If you want to write them out here, that is fine too, because I can, compile that as well while you're sitting here listening to me kind of ramble on about this stuff. So 3 options for 2.0. Blackhawk, Reno, or Vegas. There's pros and cons to each, and I'm going to kind of give my take on some of those and what I have experienced in being able to try and put these things together, and what is kind of reasonable and feasible. I think dealing with a large group, everybody has different expectations, different desires, different things that are fun to them. And so it's kind of finding that commonality of a lot of things that people are interested in. I'm never going to be able to tailor things to one specific person's needs, any of that stuff. It's just going to be is what it is, and I hope everybody here understands that. With dinner, I thought I enjoyed doing the dinner. I know, some people thought that it was expensive. And, that's a hard one for me to kind of weigh in on. I definitely think I'm a food snob when it comes to some of that stuff. And I've paid way, way, way more for way worse meals than I had at Ellis Island. I liked having our own space. And I liked that it was, buffet style, but it was elevated buffet is what I would call it. I thought it wasn't, not to shoot the palms down. And I know some people love the Palms buffet, but I feel like sometimes that food just feels like it sits and sits and sits and is not worth the $50 that it is to do the Palms buffet. So I liked having kind of our own custom tailored thing. It sounds like you guys in the chat seem to really enjoy that. So I'm hoping that we kind of do that at least as a tent pole type of event for all of that, any takeover that we do, that it's fun to get out of the casino, be able to chat with people. I sat and had a great chat with quite a few of you. I got to talk to Ron and Natalie. I got to talk to, there was a couple of other slot channel people there, got to talk to some of them. it's just nice to mix and mingle, and so I'm guessing and I'm hoping that we keep that. Um, so with that, I would want to know from you guys, A, of those three locations, Blackhawk, um, I don't know how many of you have been there, but Blackhawk is really a it is a cool mix. It's an old mining town. There's a couple of towns kind of really all together. You can take the trolley up and down their main street. You can pretty much, it's like, I would say Wendover on steroids in the terms of like, you can take the shuttle throughout Wendover and get around. You never really have to move. Um, your car or anything like that. That is very true of Blackhawk. It's easy to get around. The hardest part is that Blackhawk is about an hour or so drive up a canyon from Denver. So it means um, that getting to Denver, either flying and renting a car or driving over to Denver to Blackhawk. There's a cool town outside of Blackhawk called Golden. It's about 20 or so minutes down from, maybe 30 minutes down from Blackhawk, and that's kind of the biggest like town outside of Blackhawk. However, there are big casinos there. There's the Maristar, like Caesars has a property, MGM has a property. Nugget, our Nugget in Wendover has three affiliated properties. Yeah, Tina, that's a great way to describe it. Main Street Park City with gambling, but I would even say bigger than that. But it is that kind of vibe, that kind of feel. Beautiful scenery. So those are the pros. The cons are obviously getting there, and then it's not limited because there are a lot of mom and pop casinos with 50, 60 slot machines, maybe a table or two. And then there's 4 or 5 big casinos or bigger ish casinos that have everything. They used to have really tight limits. They've gotten away from that, so you're good there. They used to be like, I think you couldn't go more than like $15. At one point, it was 20 years ago. But those limits are gone. So with that, that's Blackhawk. Putting a group together, I would say, we may experience, we could talk to Nugget and say, hey, we have a group that we want to go. What do you guys have? But their properties are some of the smaller properties, Dragon, Casino. They've got 3. I just can't remember all of the names. So, rooms and that kind of stuff may be tight, but it's definitely doable. Grand Z, yep. And we could try and work out something there that hopefully our comps and stuff could be, or room comps that they would comp on the front end, which I know some of you guys would like that versus back end. With Ellis Island, as I kind of alluded to, I would be shocked. Please let me know if any of you ended up really having to pay for anything comp room wise or whatnot at Ellis. I believe from what he said, he thought that he made sure everybody got their rooms comped at the end. That's true. An Amtrak for all of us to go over. That would be fun. We'd take over the train too. It'd be like the fun bus, but only on a train. We could do our own bingo. Hi, AC 469. Oh, that's kind of not a bad idea. I've never done a train. Ron or Natalie, you paid for the room as the lady was not there. Did you ever reach out to Nick to have that comped on the back end? If not, I'm sure we can still do that. So let me know if you need my help. Hey, Natalie. Okay. So yes, I do love train-based bonuses. So Natalie, yeah, let's talk separate if you want me to, help with that. I believe there's a pen gaming too. I think Cheryl had told me that there's a Pen Gaming. So if you have stuff with them, and we may honestly just be better letting everybody who, if Blackhawk is the choice that we all make, everybody kind of letting them do their own, and we would maybe tailor that more to, here's our events, here's our times, come what you want to. And if there's a group that say, hey, we all want to stay at the Caesars affiliate or whatever it is there, I can look into that, or MGM, or whatever we want to do. But there is strength in numbers, so that's something for you guys all to kind of keep in mind. Second, Antoinette, so I reached out to Vida and I asked Tom when I was out in Wendover, and he was kind of squirrely about wanting to give up too much information on the Vida situation. I've heard that that's where she is. I don't know if she's with Nugget or if she's with somebody else, but we can explore that if we decide to go that way. Michelle, yeah, it is. I mean, it will take that off of my plate, but we may like some of the enhancements that we may have got, like we did with Ellis. We may lose out on some of that, so just kind of keep that in mind. And yes, Cheryl, honestly, they have a trolley that runs up and down their main street, and yes, you can literally walk out one door, walk 3 steps, and be in the door of another casino. It's not like Vegas where each casino is a 9-block walk in between each one of them. It's pretty cool. It truly is. Before we decide, and when I put these votes out, do just go check it out and see what you think. Let's talk Reno. I know that there's been a lot of interest in Reno. Again, flying or driving, you're going into the Reno airport. And if we did Reno, honestly, I think we would be able to work out with Wendover to figure out that stuff. I've been told for anybody that's a diamond in Wendover, that stuff's not a problem. But I figure with me being able to say we've got X amount of people, we're going to do this trip. Their primary home casino is Wendover. This is their play. What can you do? Can we transfer over? Room stays, things like that. The issue that I've already been told is because of the popularity that some of the our peers in the slot influencer community, my peer Vegas Matt and others, just by a few thousand subscriber difference, that their popularity has grown and that they're quite busy, constantly sold out, things of that nature. So rooms may be a little bit tougher, honestly, at Peppermill Reno, getting those comped. I don't know that necessarily, I think we'd be able to book rooms, but we may not get front end comps that I know some of you are wanting, where it may be back end comps, based off of your own play. So if you guys are willing to do that, totally up for taking that on as a group and saying, if everybody's okay with Peppermill Reno, saying, okay, these are the people that are signed up. They've got players cards, in Wendover. And here we go, let's get rooms, for everybody. Yes, Tina, they do. Western Village, all slots, no tables, and actually a pretty good restaurant there. So there obviously are other properties there in Reno. You don't have to stay at Peppermill. Caesars has the Row. There's Atlantis. There's some other things. Everybody's got bubble craps now, even the Pilot. Oh wait, the Pilot's the only one that has bubble craps. Grand Sierra, it's tied to Sahara. Yep, that's true. Hold on, gotta have a sip. So that would be Reno. And then lastly would be Vegas. Um, Vegas, for a myriad of reasons, will just always be the easiest. Um, Flying in, driving in, variety. We can go a ton of different places. Um, no, this is my friend Yoda. Um, but it is Vegas, and I'm sure many of us go to Vegas, you know, all the time, whatever. If we did Vegas, do we want to roll it back at Ellis Island? I will be honest. I was I can't stress enough how easy and great it was to work with a smaller property like Ellis in getting in, getting things that we wanted, um, facilitated, um, all of that stuff. That being said, of all the places that I have been to in Vegas, Ellis Island has been absolutely terrible for me, in terms of gambling wise, as my percentage of wins has not been great at Ellis. So that's my only drawback. And my room was decent. I'm a room snob. I'll admit that. But I stayed, um, and it was just fine. Um, I think though that Vegas again is another, like, do we want to stay at one hotel altogether? Do we want to stay at a big property? Do we want to stay at a mid property? Um, the you know, Getting things approved, the larger property that we go to, the harder things are. The smaller properties they are. We will not be doing Silver Sevens, so don't anybody suggest that one, Daryl. Yes, I've actually stayed in an M room before, and I know that they've got that second tower coming live. That is a great property. It's just so far away, but the M is awesome. Yeah, they don't tier match, but honestly, it's not hard to move up and get. I get pretty good comps, from Ellis Island. That the thing that I will say that I like that Ellis does is they'll stack comps, and they will also. I don't know how many of you know this, and maybe I should have made this more clear after that I've learned is you can ask for comps on top of your comps there. They do some of the old school Vegas. If you play pits, you can ask for a $50 food voucher that is just not part of your comps. It's not part of any of your offer, and they will do that. Um, so they've kind of still got that old school Vegas mentality with that kind of stuff. You've been playing at their tables for an hour, and they see that, and you want an extra comp, they'll do that. No problem, no questions asked. But you're limited. I mean, you've got 3 restaurants now, at Ellis. Um, so Hey, real deck. Yeah, I appreciate that. We're kind of doing our own thing on that. Not anything with Jason. The M, yeah, it's a consideration for real. But we kind of do our own thing that way. And the M may do that for us as well if that's where we choose to go. Um, but we'll leave kind of some of those options up, as places that people want to go. Durango, Michelle, beautiful, beautiful casino. Again, kind of out of the way. It was about a 20-minute drive, I would say. Daryl, Jason, let me know. Um, uh, and rooms are going to be expensive. I mean, I'll just be honest. And if you don't have good offers from stations at Red Rock or whatever, and they are property by property, uh, it's it, it's going to be hard to do comps at Durango, to be perfectly honest, at least front end. So you're taking that gamble on how much are you going to play. Um, so those are kind of our 3 options that we've narrowed down. Now let's talk about dates. So um, the dates that I am going to propose, and I'm gonna be just perfectly honest. I'm gonna be somewhat limited um, on dates for uh, for an event if we're doing it in the summertime, which I don't know if that's easiest for everyone, but keeping it somewhat around, looking at when we did this year, this past year, this upcoming year would kind of fall onto Father's Day, which I'm guessing people may want to stay away from. But again, let me know if Father's Day isn't really that big of. I mean, Father's Day is a thing, I guess, in my house, but it's not anything that if I said, "Hey, we're going to Blackhawk for Father's Day," that is going to be an issue for me. But I want to be respectful of everybody else's. So June 4th through June 7th would be an option. June 14th through the 17th would be an option. I am a no go the that weekend, the 12th and 13th, and a no go in July 27th through the 29th. But a third option could be July 30th through August 2nd. So those are some of the dates, and again, I'll put those dates out there for us to vote on. If you feel really strongly about maybe a certain date working better over, remember, I'm not going to be able to please everybody, and it will have to work somewhat into my schedule, Daryl's schedule, things like that as well. Message me, privately, and I'll look at those dates. And then if it's something that we think we can work, we can throw that on as an option. I would say June 4th through the 7th, and then June 14th through the 17th. Those would be my two picks, and then my third would be that later July August date. Now, if we wanted to look at dates either earlier over like a spring break type of time or later in kind of a dead time like October where it's not as hot, but also remember if we're doing Vegas, we got heat, that bothers some. Um, Reno, not as much. And Blackhawk, honestly, any of those times, it's going to be beautiful there. So, uh, Michelle, I just got to disagree. I'm sorry. 110 degrees to me is brutal. I know you're coming from warm state. Yes, the casinos are freezing. That is true. And I think that's why we all stay in the casinos because it's so damn hot outside. Um, but yeah, Blackhawk would be temperature wise, all that stuff, getting up and down. Having to walk in Blackhawk. You definitely it'll be good weather for any of those dates. So those are our times and our dates. Um, so the October one would be probably around mid-October, which would be kind of like just what we came or what we're coming up to. UEA, what is that, like the 15th, 16th? It would be. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. Hunting season. So that is the busy time. So I don't know if that would work. Daryl can chime in. But yeah, so those are kind of the proposed dates. I would like some feedback from you guys in terms of when I go to these casinos and talk about we've got this group, we've got this amount. Yes, I did see that. Yeah, I did see the G2E thing, which is fun if anybody wants to go to G2E. But it also is it's at the Venetian, in their conference center, and but it is kind of cool, but it is expensive for tickets. So yeah, So the other thing, and we've got a slot channel in here, Real Deck. Mandy, what is G2E? So it's the Global Gaming Expo. It's where all the casino manufacturers do their big expo, put out their new games, show new things that are coming to the casinos. It's fun if you're into that. It's also the tickets can be pretty expensive depending on whether that's important to you or not to go around and you can basically sit at and test new games and see how new games play, on demo mode and all of that stuff. You'll see a bunch of influencers right now starting to release games with high wins and things like that are from G2E, of showing kind of the new games that are coming out. Ron says thanks. Another all the dates he wanted to go. You are saying no. What dates? He's saying no or we're saying no. Anyway. Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I didn't read all of it. I am kind of blind today. So what I do want to know from you guys is as I negotiate, what matters most to you guys? Is it trying to get discounted or comp rooms? Would you like more in like food beverage credit? Is free play a big thing to you guys? What and I'll put that obviously in a vote, and you guys can let me know. But part of the power and the fun with this is being able to say, as we did with Ellis Island, we're going to be bringing some people down here. We want a discount. What are you able to do? Da 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 da. So be thinking about what's really important to you. Does front end comps matter? And when I say front end, that means you're going in and your room is comped. You're not going to be on the hook for a room. Moving forward, and then you're going to get comps from a casino that way. Or would you rather have back end comps and not have to worry about meeting some play expectation or anything like that? Which I to me, it doesn't matter to me either way. I usually know like where my budget's going to be and that I'm going to get X, Y, and Z taken care of. Some people, who maybe haven't or don't have had that experience. Front end comps are usually tied with like, especially if you're new to a casino, they're going to be a little more hesitant on front end comps because there's no history of play there and they don't know. They're taking a risk on, does this person play? Are we just giving up a room or giving a bunch of stuff out and they're not even going to play? Back end comps are usually what more hotels, casinos will do because they'll get to see your play and they'll be able to say, well, we can only take care of this much or that much. So, yeah, with Vegas, we have lots of options, honestly, with what we can do. Reno still have some good options and a pretty strong one with Peppermill. And then Blackhawk, because it's not a destination town, the power of being able to say, hey, we've got a group of 30 people coming or whatever, that carries weight. And that helps me to go in and say, here's what we've got. We want to stay at this hotel, or we've got these 3 hotels. Let's see what best deal we can get for everybody and go from there. Again, not going to be able to please everybody. But that is kind of how that works. Any other questions? I cannot do August, Tina. I'll just be flat out honest, transparent. I am off all summer, and I go back to August 3rd, back to work August 3rd, and I am slammed that first month. So August would never work for me whatsoever. Let's see, Cheryl, free play and food and beverage. No problem asking for back end comps. Yep. I try and tell everybody, always ask. The worst thing anybody can do is say, no. So yeah, definitely always ask. Um, Tina, if you've been to any, yep, you may have rooms. Yep, you can always ask. That's always a good thing to do. If you are good with that and just want to do your own thing, I'll leave that as an option for you guys to do for wherever we go. Then, like I said, that honestly takes away, it'll take away some of our group negotiating, but it takes away some of the, me trying to manage and figure all of that out. So I'm gonna leave that as a vote in the group chat of, are you okay? Do you want to just figure out your own things, but you'll be there on those dates? Um, hey C469, I would say Vegas tourism is down. As far as prices, I can't really speak to that, but yep, I've been there a couple of times already this summer, and yeah, definitely. Jason, Reno or Vegas? I'm shocked Jason doesn't want to do Blackhawk. Ed, you want to go to Vegas? All right. Yeah, so leave you there. Everyone goes to Vegas a lot. I Natalie, I'm with you. Like, definitely do Vegas a ton. I'm always down for Vegas. Don't get me wrong, but I'm an explorer. I'm a traveler. If you guys said, "Hey, there's 6 great casinos in Iowa," I'm there. Let's go. Prairie Flower. We can hit up uh, Omaha. Let's see. Yeah, that's Omaha, Nebraska, but it's in Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, I believe. Um, I'm down for Blackhawk. I like Blackhawk. It's awesome. Um, Oklahoma. That would be interesting. That's convenient for you, and probably a couple of other people. Um, Blackhawk is great. It is it's an experience for sure. And I suggest, even if we don't go there, guys try and get there, because it's a blast. It is fun. Um, so yeah. So, oh, the other thing that I wanted to, and I said we've got another slot channel on here. I got to meet Real Deck Gaming. I got to meet him and some other channels, and I've talked to them about these events, and have some other slot channels that want to join in on this, like we had last year with uh, some of them, Slot Sista, and uh, oh my gosh, drawing a blank now. Anyway, but yes, we will want to have some other slot channels. So if there's some guys, I will tell you, I have reached out. I've been in communication, and like, I know people will say, can we get Vegas Matt to cut? Like, I will get, oh yeah, hey, we can, see if we're there. We'll be there, and then you hear crickets. So, that it is what it is. We're the, you know everyday casino channel here. We're not, the big boys, and unfortunately, that's not unfortunately. I'm happy, glad. I like that we have this community. In fact, I talked with Cheryl about this. Like, I will sit down and gamble with any one of you guys. You guys are friends to me at this point. I love hanging out. Um, and, you know, I think that's awesome that we've found our own little community here from a bunch of people in Wendover that has grown to more than just Wendover people at this point. We got Bama Tex. In fact, did I just see him pop in? Uh, you know, um, Ed is not, Ed's from, well, Ed, I'll let you say where you're from. Michelle is from Texas. Real Deck, who's in here, is from Florida. Like, so, uh, I want to support those who also support our community. And Real Deck, you were great. Unfortunately, with all the fiasco of Ellis Island and running around and trying to find places to go and be and whatnot, we didn't really get to gamble together. But I'd love to have you on this with us, and feature you and have all of our guys get to know you. So guys, make sure you check out Real Deck Gaming. Bama, you guys, some of you met him, know him. There he is. Ed, you're from Montana. Love to have. Bama was supposed to be at this first event and couldn't get that, so hopefully he'll be here for 2.0 and love to have him. But if there's some other slot channels, I can. I think somebody said, "What about Ruby?" Like I can reach out, but the likelihood, to be perfectly honest, of us saying, "Hey, Ruby, meet us in Blackhawk," it's just not going to happen. If we're in Vegas and we invite her, there's a better chance. But um, they're doing their own thing, which is great. Fine, no shade, no nothing. So yeah, so but smaller channels, they're aligned a lot. We're all kind of just want to have fun, good times, get to know people, and that kind of stuff. Which I think Bama, you and I are aligned that way. Real Deck, you and I were aligned that way. So yeah. So, any other questions from anybody, or any other thoughts, ideas, suggestions, anything like that? We've been on here for 45 minutes. Any other thoughts you guys have? I Hey, there's some wins there that Bama's had that I wish that I had. Although I will say, guys, this past Vegas trip, and I wish my phone had not crapped out on me. I am so sad and shocked that our $15,000 video of $5 bets and under performed so poorly. Um, but like this Vegas trip was major central, hand pay central, bubble crap central, live crap like the amount of winning that I experienced in Vegas in 3 days was unreal. Um, all except for Ellis Island. I could not win anything at Ellis Island. Um, but we basically we hit Eureka in Mesquite. That's another. Hey, that's a 1.5 idea too. If people want to take a weekend and do Mesquite, I don't know why I forget about that, but yeah. Um, Cheryl, 1.5 in jackpot. Yep, I down to do jackpot for sure. Um, yeah, let's figure it out. Um, I guess my question would be is if we did something before the end of the year, we're coming into bad weather. How bad will the um, how bad will the weather be if we tried to do one before the end of the year? Group pulls. That's hit or miss, and that's something that I would definitely negotiate. Some casinos, more casinos are coming into that and understand the fun and the community part of that, but there are still some that are just no. Um, Videoing, I'll make sure that's all taken care of for sure, no matter where we go. Um, AC, we're not here to talk about Three Eye Atlas. Sorry, this is a gambling channel. Um, it's smaller than Wendover. Yeah, Tina, for sure. That's why Fort Hall will never be an option. They just do not. They are just a no. Um, so yeah. Um, it, oh, Ed, that's a story. Um, yeah. So jackpot. How would the weather be? I've never driven that in the winter. I've done it in the spring and summer. Um, but yeah. Mandy there is big or bigger in Blackhawk, but just below Blackhawk is Central City. It's an iron. Yep, that's true. Yeah, I think we all want to hear Ed getting kicked out of the jackpot casino. So I'm guessing he can't come back. Or we'll have to uh, get Ed a fake mustache and sneak him in. So, anything else you guys want to chat about other than Three Eye Atlas? And I guess I'm a clown. Daryl, good to have you back. I will get those polls put out later today. Um, Let me say this too. Uh, if we choose Vegas, um, Strat was awesome. I did not expect it to be. Daryl can speak on what kind of their standard room was like. I don't even know that I stepped foot in their room. Um, but Strat was awesome to work with. They had a lot of just um, fun side giveaways for people on property every single day. I won a few of them. I got hosed on a card game giveaway where I think Daryl will be showing that video. And there's some decent food options. Actually, they had a VIP um, food event that we got to go to, and the food was awesome there. Um, but it is kind of in a less than desirable part of town. So there is that. So I don't know if that would be a deterrent if anybody wanted to not do the strat. But gaming wise, holy cow. And it wasn't just me. Everybody I saw around, like, there was tons of winning going on at strat. And it could have just been the weekend. Obviously, that can change at any time. But strat was awesome. Are we pretty much nobody wants to go back to Ellis, or would people want to run back at Ellis if we did Vegas again, or do we want to change it up? Some other Vegas options would be Tuscany. We could look at Tuscany. We could look at Silverton. We could look at the M. We could look at Sahara. We could look at Resorts World if people are interested in that. It's not my favorite place. I don't think that Station would be viable unless we did like a Palace Station. But Durango, Red Rock, GVR might be an option for us, but they're going under a GVR would be under renovation next year. They are going under a second part of their renovation, so they may be limited. But I love GVR. Let's see. Yeah, Rampart is not bad. It's not. I've personally never gambled there. I've been inside, but I've never gambled there. So, but again, we're kind of out and here's another one too. And it's a pen gaming. Oh shoot, Aliante, Fremont Street. I think we could work something out if people are interested in Fremont Street. But if we did Fremont Street, I would say we would probably just let everybody do their own kind of thing for Fremont, just so we know. Yeah. Yeah, GVR is far off the strip, just like M, for sure. I don't know why. Cheryl, that made me hold your message. Oh, probably because you put strip, and YouTube's algorithm didn't like that. That's funny. So yeah, I mean, if we do Fremont, Aliante is Boyd. Okay. If we did Fremont, I would just say that we will leave that alone. As far as not alone, I would leave that up to you guys for everybody to book their own stuff at Fremont. Just because so many people have so many different opinions about Fremont, and the closeness and proximity of everything is great, but everybody has their own deciding factors on whether they want to stay on Fremont or not, me being one of them. Um, El Cortez, yeah. They're easy to work with if you're in the cool kid club. We'll put it that way. They used to be great. Um, but yeah. So, yeah. Any other suggestions that we may want to throw out there for everybody to kind of consider? Okay, well, I appreciate your guys' time. Um, yeah, there you go, Real Deck. A lot of us are not in the cool kid club. uh, but yeah. So I will put out the locations and the dates. Once we have those kind of things narrowed down, then we can talk about the who, what, when, where, and why of all of those things. And obviously, like I said, I'm not going to be able to please everybody. Don't take it personally. If you can make it, make it. If you can't, totally understand. But, we had pretty good numbers for the first one. We're hoping to have even more numbers for the second one. And so, it gets tough to accommodate everybody's schedule. They only serve lunch at Platinum, no dinner menu anymore. Breakfast and lunch. Uh, I like that too, Mandy. Yeah, I'm glad Mesquite for a smaller event. Although, God, we're in Mesquite, we're close to Vegas. May is no good for me either. It's the end of the school year. So sorry, Tina. Yeah, those are 2 months that are just no goes for me. Um, I wish that I could, but end of the school year, start of the school year for me at work is just too brutal. Um, so with that, um, I'll put out those dates. If you have some other ones, message me. I'll put those dates out later today. So if you think of something or something comes up to you, I'll take all your messages, ideas, suggestions that you may want to throw out there and compile them and see what would work. And then I'll put out kind of a vote thing, and we'll leave that up for a little bit because I know not everybody's here or could make it. But want to say appreciate you guys. It's still not too late to get your plane ticket, Bama, for Thursday. Ed, you're going to be in Wendover or Vegas? Natalie, Ron, both of you. I had a great time, and one of the highlights for me was I got to get to know you guys a little better sitting there chatting at dinner. So I hope to do that with more of you. Um, I appreciate all of you guys so much. Our whole team does. Thank you. Thanks for supporting our channel, the channel memberships, our giveaways. Um, Remember to get your tickets in. Um, and thank you, guys. Try and if you can share our channel out, share out Slots and Craps, share out Wendover Uncensored. We hope to grow our engagement through word of mouth, through you guys, um, all of that stuff. Um, when we're kind of a band of misfits that got together and found some more misfits. Hope you guys don't take offense to all of that, but I think of you guys as fun misfits. So, thank you all. And yeah, I guess we will see you. Oh, go watch that video in 4 minutes. BBD, $125 bets. And appreciate all the love. Message me privately if you guys have some other ideas. And we'll see you guys for the next one.